What's good, everyone? Welcome back to the PWD channel where we discuss professional wrestling. In today's video, I'm going to be discussing, will WrestleMania 39 even be good? It's brought up a pretty good card so far. The build has been fine, but will the show be good? And I guess let's get talking on about that build. This year's build towards WrestleMania is many different from others, and this WrestleMania as a whole is just so different from others because this is the first WrestleMania where Triple H is fully in charge. This is Triple H's first WrestleMania. We've had Triple H's first SummerSlam, and which went incredible in my opinion. We've had Triple H's first Royal Rumble, which also went really well, and now we're having Triple H's first WrestleMania. Of course, the past several decades, Vince McMahon was the one running these WrestleManias, but for the first time ever, Triple H is in charge. Will he make a big difference? WrestleMania, in my opinion, almost every year for the last few years has hit. It's been good regardless of how how bad the build has been. Let's say WrestleMania 35, for example, a pretty decent show. The build wasn't the best in some scenarios, like the women's triple threat main event. The build for that match was not good. However, the actual match itself and the actual show itself, maybe not the match itself, but the actual show itself as a whole, WrestleMania 35 was still good. We had Kofi Kingston defeating Bryan Danielson, or Daniel Bryan at the time, and we had a lot of other good matches and a lot of good moments on that show that made it what I would say a good show. And we're having yet another one here at WrestleMania 39. And let's talk about the build. The build to the show, I'm not gonna lie, for a WrestleMania, it's been okay. It's just plain and simple, it's been okay. I don't think it's been great. I don't think it's really necessarily been extremely good by any means. Like, just for example, looking at the card on my screen right now, don't get me wrong, there's definitely been some good build. Like, I think Edge and Finn Balor has been decent. I think Damage Control versus Trish, Lita, and Becky has been fine for what it is. I have really enjoyed Austin Theory versus John Cena from the small segments we've seen so far. Seth Rollins and Logan Paul. Brock Lesnar and Omos, probably one of my least favorite ones, but one that really sticks out that's really bad is Bianca Belair versus Asuka. Charlotte Flair versus Rhea hasn't been the greatest either. And Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes has also been really good. Now that I'm looking at it on paper, I do think that overall, the build has been good. Can it be better for a WrestleMania? Yes, I definitely think so, especially with the Raw that just passed this Monday. I think the build was not the greatest, and I think in the last couple of weeks you can kind of tell we're heading into WrestleMania in a way where the wrestlers who are going to be on the card are taking, either they're not wrestling at all, such as Roman Reigns, or they're not even on the show at all, i.e. Roman Reigns again. They're either in that situation or they're in Seth Rollins situations where they are wrestling, however they're wrestling a lesser, they're not using their full potential. They're going a little bit softer so that they stay injury free going into WrestleMania. And I think some of the promos, especially in some of these matches, such as Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns, I think it's actually actively damaging. Although I have enjoyed the build between those two, I think it's actively damaging them, the champion, not being on the show. Like, we've had Roman Reigns just has not been on almost any of the shows lately. He's been on the SmackDown occasionally, and he actually is going to be on Raw in a couple days time, which I'm excited for. But him not being on the show every single week when we literally are on the build to WrestleMania has been slightly damaging. We've also had like the Logan Paul and Seth Rollins feud, which I've really enjoyed. However, it's mostly been the Miz and Seth Rollins. We've had Logan Paul on one of the shows, but of course, you know, he's doing his own thing. He's working on boxing, he's working on being Logan Paul, Prime, and all of that. So that's kind of taken away from the build as well. And yeah, overall, I think that in general, the build, yes, I do think that it has been good, especially compared to previous years. We've had some previous years WrestleManias where the build was atrocious under Vince McMahon's control. I think that a lot of the previous WrestleMania builds made it to where it just didn't even feel like a WrestleMania to begin with. So this is definitely a huge step up from what we've had previously, and it's definitely still good. I do think that it could be better, and I think going forward, after this WrestleMania season, you know, after we get Hunter's, like Triple H's little debut WrestleMania, I think after that going forward, I think we'll start to go more in his direction. We're looking maybe at like a second reset period for Triple H here, where he's going to get things going how he really wants to this time. You know, we can get the title off of Roman, possibly. I'm still not too sure about that, but hopefully we get the title off of Roman, and we just get things going Triple H's way going forward. And I think that future WrestleManias will have even better builds. I think WWE as a whole is moving in a more positive direction, especially after Vince McMahon stepping down. I know he's still back in the company now, but he is no longer the head of creative, at least as of right now. I know he's trying to get back into it, but nobody wants him to get back into it. But the build, it has been good. Now, will the actual show itself be good? What I'm about to say might be a hot take. I'm not sure. Let me know down in the comments below if what I'm about to say is going to be a hot take, but I genuinely believe that this might be the best, or it could be the best WrestleMania, at least top 3 WrestleManias of all time. I genuinely believe, again, this is probably a hot take, but I'm very optimistic about this WrestleMania. I think that it could be maybe the best since WrestleMania 17. Maybe that's a hot take. Maybe at least the best since we started in the 30s, at least since WrestleMania 30, whatever you consider to be the best. WrestleMania last year, don't get me wrong, was incredible. So that it's up there. I think last year's WrestleMania is definitely up there. But I think that this could top even last year's WrestleMania. Again, maybe this is a hot take. Maybe I'm tripping for saying this, but I'm just super optimistic. And going forward, looking into this card, like looking at the card right now, the Intercontinental Championship match, Gunther versus Sheamus or Drew McIntyre, I think that this could become potentially become a triple threat, which I'm incredibly excited for if it does become a triple threat. Edge versus Balor in a Hell in a Cell. I am so stoked for this match. As a match as a whole, I love the Hell in a Cell stipulation. It's nice to be seeing it used outside of Hell in a Cell pay-per-view now. It seems like it's actually going to mean something for once, and I think that this is going to be such a badass match. We also have the United States Championship match, Austin Theory versus John Cena. It's going to be so nice to see what John Cena can do in the ring in today's era, especially against Austin Theory. For the United States Championship as well, it should be really fun. I think Austin Theory takes that, but it's still going to be good. But we'll have our prediction show in a little bit. Let me not get into too many predictions. Seth Rollins versus Logan Paul. I think this could be the sleeper match. I genuinely think this could become match of the weekend out of nowhere. We had Logan Paul versus Roman Reigns. I think it was at Crown Jewel a few months ago, which was absolutely stunning. Logan Paul is a fantastic wrestler, whether you like him or not, and I think that him versus Seth Rollins is going to be incredibly athletic and just an amazing match overall. We also have like Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley, which could be okay. I think Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes is that match. I think that could definitely be one of the best matches. It's going to probably, actually no, guaranteed, because Cody's already said it, it's main eventing night too. And then even some of the matches that haven't been put on the card yet that are still out there, Dominic Mysterio versus Rey Mysterio, I think that could be a killer match. It's going to be a lot of emotions going into this match as well. The Usos and Sami Zayn, or the Usos versus Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, I think could be good as well. There's just so many good matches on this card, and I've enjoyed a lot of these builds. Again, like I said, I think the build could be better, but I've still enjoyed it. That doesn't mean that I don't enjoy it. I've still enjoyed this build as a whole. And so do I think WrestleMania 39 will be good? My answer is for sure yes. I think that it will be good. And I'm going to take it a step further. I think we could be looking at one of the best WrestleManias of all time. At least top 3, maybe top 5. I think we're going to be looking at an incredible WrestleMania. My hopes are way through the roof. I've talked to John, who was a co-host on this show. I've talked to him about it as well. He's keeping his expectations very low. He doesn't expect much from this show at all. He's keeping his expectations very low because he doesn't want to get his hopes up and then be disappointed. But for me personally, I'm going all the way out there and saying this is going to be a good show. I'm very optimistic about it. I'm very hopeful with what's going to happen. And I think that we could be looking at, again, one of the greatest WrestleManias of all time. And so will the show be good? Yes, I think that WrestleMania 39 will be good. But let me know down in the comments below what you think. Do you think WrestleMania 39 is going to be good? Are you excited for it? What are your thoughts going into the match? Which matches are you most excited for? As of right now, I'd say that I'm most excited for probably the main event, but I'm also really stoked for not only Austin Theory versus John Cena. I'm very hyped for that match, but Logan Paul and Seth Rollins as well. Like I said, I think that's sleeper match of the weekend. I think that it could potentially be match of the weekend just with the two talent that we have in the ring. I think that it could be incredible. And there's still other matches that just haven't been put on the card yet that I do think they'll be awesome. I think that they'll be awesome. And again, I think this is going to be an incredible WrestleMania. But again, let me know down in the comments below what you think. Let me know what you thought about this video. Leave a like if you did enjoy it, and subscribe to the channel if you don't already. We make wrestling content like this weekly. I will be back again Friday for the Friday Night SmackDown review. Hopefully something big happens on SmackDown because we're leading into WrestleMania. We are just weeks away from WrestleMania, which I am, again, super stoked for. So I'm ready to see what happens. But again, catch you guys on the next video. Love you all. Peace.